Hello, everybody. Today is a very, very special day for me because I have here close to me a person that has influenced me the most over the last few years. And probably most of you know him. His name is Jim Bagnola. Hello, Jim. How are you?
Hello. Thank you. Nice to have you invite me, and I'm pleased to be in Romania with you.
Yes. Thank you very much. So I think most of you know Jim and or heard about him. For those of you who don't know him, I would like to make a summary of his biography, let's say, of his curriculum. So you will understand the type of person we have here with us today. So Jim is an executive coach, international speaker, and corporate educator. As an executive coach, he's coaching executive for Fortune 500 companies. He is a certified speaking professional, and as a corporate educator, he has been, I would say, more than 25 years in 102 countries and counting, right, Jim? Still counting the number of countries you have been developing your professional career. Jim is also author of a book called Becoming a Professional Human Being about body-mind relationship, and he's really an international expert on the subject of leadership. That is what we will talk about. Leadership, especially in these times where big changes are happening in the marketplace, with the new generation coming, companies trying to get better results, and I think Jim is the perfect guest that we can have today to talk about all this subject that I'm sure you will like and will appreciate the insights from Jim. So Jim, we were talking about 20-30 minutes, so I don't know this time is convenient, and I would like to start with one topic that is team productivity. So we all agree that the results come through teamwork. But somehow leaders and executives in organizations have difficulties to get teams performing at the level that they would like them to perform. What would you suggest leaders and managers to focus on to improve the team productivity in their organizations?
You know, one of my philosophies is going back to fundamentals. Mm-hmm. Always do fundamentals first. Make sure that you're sharp and good at it. Like any team, athletic team, you're going to go and play international football, then you need to kick, block, run, be in physical condition, excellent physical condition. All the fundamentals have to be done first. So the first thing that we think of about teams is how do we unleash their potential? Mm-hmm. Everything that you and I do, because we're professionals trying to unleash the potential within ourselves and then unleash the potential in the team members. Mm-hmm. So one fundamental is that we share with them where we want to go, the intention. Here's where we want to go. This is what I want to achieve in the end. And the second thing is the why. The reason I want to achieve this is because. So you use this word because. A great deal of our workforce is millennial. They've been born between 1980 and around 2000. Mm-hmm. And they really want to know why. And we tell them where, what's it look like in the end, and the why, and then the way to unleash their creativity is let them decide how. Mm-hmm. we also talk about when, how soon. But in that how soon, we have to have agreement. So they need to agree that this is how soon we can get it done without straining any of the other things on their plate of activity. So just this one thing increases potential of the team members.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, very, very interesting. How do you think this new generation is different from others like ours in regards of this on that need to know why they have to do something?
Because, and that's a great question, because millennials want to be partners. They don't want to work for someone, they want to work with someone. And when you work with someone and you're on equal footing, then you're more productive. If I talk down to you because I think millennials know less than they do and less than I know, then productivity goes up or down. It either goes up or down, it's no neutral. And so I treat them as partners. They want to be partners. They want their opinion taken seriously. They want to work with, not for. They're very entrepreneurial. When we go into Z generation, they're even more entrepreneurial. Mm-hmm. But millennials are more entrepreneurial, and if they're in an organization, intrapreneurial. Mm-hmm. We would let them know, you decide the how. You decide the where. You want to, if we can. If it's a bank, we can't let them go to a coffee shop to work. But at most organizations, you want to achieve something in the coffee shop, you go ahead. And you'll see, more productivity. So make them a partner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. I had the experience of one millennial that I hired for my organization, and before 3 months, he quit because he was not promoted. When basically he was just learning around and just getting how things were being done in the organization, and he just quit because he wanted to be promoted faster. So this is a good example.
And the one thing about them is that, and I'm more millennial than boomer, because I have the one fault that they all have, impatience. Mm-hmm. And they have to learn that a few things are going to take time. Relationships, career, building, and learning take time. You know, and I try to coach them when I am coaching them. Don't ask when you're going to get your first promotion during the first interview. Because, you know, well, how do I know how fast I can move up in the organization? Because I want to make a difference. I want to be at the top. Mm-hmm. And say, well, you know, that's going to take some work and time. You know, you just don't walk in and get a reward. And this is somehow that generation feels we get rewarded just for doing instead of just for succeeding and learning and developing, maturing, and now I know the job and I really have the handle on that. But we as other generations need to know they have more information in their heads and at their fingertips than any other generation. Mm-hmm. So we respect them for this. They can find anything, do anything, get anything at any second.
Mm-hmm. So all the culture of the organization need to be kind of understanding this new behavior. Talking about culture, I have been working in multinational companies that with headquarters in different geographies. But my experience is nothing compared to yours, that you have been teaching teams or training teams in more than 100 countries. How can culture help managers and leaders to get that that productivity increase or teamwork better results in organizations?
You know, going back to my first answer about there are two things, culture and strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Strategy is the plan and the plans that we have on how to succeed. The culture is it an open, understanding, compassionate culture? Is it a culture that is open to the best ideas and not caring about who they come from?
Mm-hmm.
The culture is built on how we feel about being a part of this team around here. What do we do around here that makes our team different? So, you know, Amazon, Google, these kinds of companies, Facebook, for the most part, employees really love the culture. And just like on an athletic team, we can have all the strategies in the world to win. Long lists of things. The most successful people know that what Peter Drucker said, culture eats strategy for lunch. and he didn't mean that we shouldn't have a strategy. We should have a plan. But we've got to build a culture first. What kind of culture are we going to build? And it must be millennial friendly. It must be the last 10 years of Exer, the Exer birth rate. You know, they're a lot like millennials. The first 10 years of Exers might be a little different. But from 1970, 1980, they're a lot like millennials. The Z generation, the first part of it, will be a lot like millennials, mm-hmm. Except more than the millennial, knowing more, understanding more entrepreneurial. So we focus again on the fundamentals, which mean build a culture. What kind of culture do we want here? Mm-hmm. And we ask people, you know, what do you think the values of this culture are? Because most people join an organization because of the value of the organization. Like I asked people from Legrand, why did you join this organization? They said, high quality products, even though more expensive, more high quality, and high quality people there. Mm-hmm. So which translates into high quality service. So this is what I call the cultural code, the culture mm-hmm. code. Mm-hmm. High quality people, service, products. That's why you wanted to join? You're in. Now you know the culture. What we're going to focus on here. Now we start talking about plans and strategy. Mm-hmm. Because it's secondary to the culture.
Mm-hmm. So regardless in which part of the world we are, I like your comment about culture that is millennial friendly, adapting to the new wave of leaders that are coming in the organizations that are millennials, and we need to understand how millennials can be integrated in the organization.
Yeah, for instance, if I ask people, what is leadership in this age? Well, it's a leader who has an idea to solve a problem, plus follower or followers, equals a power together called leadership. Mm-hmm. And another word for that is millennial friendly, is partnership. We have a partnership here. You're my partner. So in Pfizer, just the other day, we were talking about reverse mentoring, where the millennials are mentoring the Generation X, older than them, more experienced than they are. This is millennial friendly, more open, more creative, unleashing the potential of everybody. So when we look at The millennial, we don't have to say, oh, you're a millennial. We just look at them as if we are transcending color, their religion, what culture they're from, their gender. All those things are secondary to what idea do you have to solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a better idea than I do, Ray Dalio of Bridgewater calls it a technology that they use there to get the best ideas, so he calls it a meritocracy.
Mm-hmm.
What idea has the highest and best merit? We don't care who it comes from. And then we test it. We stress test it. So, important technology and important to understand the culture has to be one of partnership.
Mm-hmm. Very, very, very good insights on around this topic that I think many people still believe on the old culture, and if they don't move, it's difficult to confront the new generation coming with the new ideas together with an old culture that maybe comes from the old organization.
They won't stay. They will not stay in a backward culture.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They get bored, and then they're named job hopping.
Yes.
Job hopping. They're seeking that culture where they fit in.
Mm-hmm.
So, it might be a 50-50 problem. Impatience on the millennial side, but for higher management, what kind of culture are you building?
Mm-hmm.
And they are at the top. It starts at the top.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. In many organizations, a huge work to be done yet to get to the point where the situation that you are picturing now. But we know that executives and leaders are really busy people. And they like all the time to implement simple things that can provide short-term improvements, short-term results. And besides your expertise, or on top of your expertise, I think you are brilliant on sharing those specific simple things that can be implemented in one organization to improve the teamwork, the productivity, and the morale of the employees. Some years ago, you told me about one tool. It's called REITs, READS, that I have used quite a bit, and it really helped me in many situations. Could you tell us a little bit more about that specific tool?
It guides me too. It guides me in a conversation. It guides me in a meeting. It guides me in just about everything I do. And I had an agent who was listening to me talk one time, and I mentioned all 5 things, and then he came up to me and he said, these spell REITs. And I said, oh, you're right. It's REITs. And he said, you should use that for people to help them. It's an acronym for them to remember it. I didn't have it lined up that way.
Mm-hmm.
So Rich Liebel was one of my agents who represented me, and he showed me, this is what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say he's the man on this. But R is about something simple. You have to build relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to build relationship, and about 50% of our problems in the workplace are based on relationship problems. 50% is minimum. 50% is a minimum level. Mm-hmm. Then we go to the EA, because they fit together. Expectations. What do you expect? What do I expect? If I miss out on that, then we go to A, we make assumptions. And if I'm having an interaction with you, and I don't know what you expect, you don't know what I expect. What happens is we leave the conversation stupid instead of smart. And if I had a better relationship with you, I would hear those expectations and assumptions more clearly. Relationship opens heart, person to person, not position to position. Millennial friendly. It's not my position to your position. It's my person to your person. We're just people. They hired you. I don't care what age you are. You're a valuable asset, or they wouldn't have hired you. So 30% of our problems are based on the fact that people would rather be stupid than look stupid. So that means, do you know what we're supposed to do? You know, after a meeting, some people, do you know what we're supposed to do? No, I thought you were listening. I didn't know I wasn't there. Should we go back in and ask him? No! We don't want to look stupid. Let's just be stupid. Because we don't know exactly what we should do. So 30% of problems are based on the fact that I haven't clarified expectations. I make assumptions, you make assumptions. And I say assumptions lead to assumicide. We ruin plans by not really challenging each other's assumption, making sure we don't make assumption, right? And right there is 80% of the problems in the workplace, or in a meeting, or in a conversation. So I go down the list. So, Eduard, how's it going today? Good. How's the family? I know your daughter's a physician and she's doing a lot of work on the front line. How's she doing? Has she maintained your health? Is she safe? And you give me your answer. We're building a relationship. And then, what do you expect to get from this conversation? Please challenge any assumptions I'm making. And the D was how we started this conversation in the first place. What's the destination? Where are we supposed to go? The S is very simple. We both need to receive, it's called self-awareness. D is destination and self-awareness. They go together. This is the last 20%, source of most problems. If we generalize problems, that I didn't give you feedback because I was afraid to, or I felt I wasn't allowed to, or I wanted you to like me, so I didn't tell you the truth. And it causes problems in the organization. So it's a brief about REITs and the source of problems. And also, normally we have two jobs in an organization, one we're paid for and one we're not paid for. One we're paid for, the 50% we're paid for, is what to get done, what value I add to the company, and what results I get. The other one is, I want to impress people, I want to look good, I'm protecting my ego, I'm trying to build my own brand in the company. I want you to know I'm smarter than everybody in the room. These we don't get paid for, and we waste so much time on this. We waste time. So what? You're the smartest one in the room. So what? You know, these things don't matter. We just want the best idea to solve this problem in front of us.
I like exactly that structure that you mentioned, because it's so simple that if you have in mind the relationship, the expectations, all the areas in any interaction that you have, and your direct reports have the same approach with their reportees, the whole organization can transform overnight. Just trying to follow that structure and really adding value in that relationship that is where everything happens, or the cause of every problem.
It's a communication tool that we all need to guide us. And if I can't remember it, why should I teach somebody anything that's so complicated that I can't even remember it? Yes. I want something I can remember. I want something that everybody could remember. So, for instance, if you're an introvert and you're meeting somebody for the first time, we say make the big connection. Big connection. What's your background? B. You know, what's your you could use anything you want, you know, but you could say, you know, what's your intention here in this whatever setting we're in. And then G could be goals. What are your goals professionally and personally? Just anything to start a conversation. Or the best question is, what's on your mind? This is what Facebook asks. It's the best question ever asked. How do we know? They stopped asking it and their engagement went down so low. Figure out what happened. Why are so many people not talking and going, oh, we changed the question. The very first question you see, what's on your mind?
The engagement, no? The engaging question was changed.
Yeah.
I talking a little bit about why things, because this idea is great. If one organization could implement that simple step in starting tomorrow, they would see huge improvement. But what I have seen is that frustration from the leaders of the organizations where they see that the return on investment in trainings are not pleasing them. They think that trainings don't give them enough return on investment as it should, based on the amount of money that they spend. I have been very fortunate to work for global leaders that have spent millions of dollars on employee training, and when you see sometimes the impact, you don't see the correlation, the money spent with the success of that training. What I have seen lately, and also global leaders, as you mentioned before, Facebook, Google, they have started introducing coaching as a tool to, let's say, make the training more actionable and implementable than the training alone. How do you think coaching will help organizations to improve their results?
Training without coaching is a bad idea. Let's take the athletic team again, or a symphony orchestra. We train the symphony on this and that and that and that, and we don't rehearse, we don't exercise, we don't go over and over that piece in the orchestra, and then we have to perform. But we haven't practiced together. They haven't been coached by the conductor, and it can be an awful piece. But if it's Andre Roux, who you and Quadruzza took me to see, one of my favorite performers, they practice, get coach, rehearse. So they get the training, but they get the follow-up. The problem with organizations, as you've said, they just check the box. Training done. No, and I worked with Honeywell for 8 years in a row in Lugoj, Romania, and they kept the same team being trained through a series over that year. Over those years, every year, same time, training, same team. We couldn't have the training if everybody wasn't there. And so Paul, the director, would make sure everybody's got to be here. I'm there too. Here's another problem with organizations. The top people don't show up. Train them. So the language, the tools to be used aren't there. So there's no follow-up, no guidance, no coaching. Of course it's going to fail. We checked the first box. We should have follow-up to continue to expand and ask, how did you apply those tools? So, for instance, in yours and my trainings, we have theory, we have examples of how that theory is used, and then I have, when I think it's most important, the toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the toolbox, and in the toolbox you will see REITs. You will see the tool called Appreciate and Improve. Oh, how am I supposed to use that again? Oh, I write that. First, have them evaluate you as the manager. What do you appreciate about what I'm doing, and what can I improve so you can be more productive? Just simple. But most managers will not accept this feedback from their employees. Maybe once a year in a 360 where they get their five favorite employees will give them feedback.
Mm-hmm.
The 360. So of course it's all brilliant. I'm brilliant. I have nothing to improve. Well, we know that all of us need to improve in some way, and we can have them do it anonymously, and once they trust us, they will write their name on the Appreciate and Improve feedback.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So follow-up, coaching, a series, tools that are so simple, anyone can remember these.
Yes,
that are usable,
exactly.
applicable. I get a headache with complicated tools. I get a headache. I can't do it.
Many complicated tools, but the fundamentals are not done.
Correct. Yeah, we have this four-box thing model here, and I say, let's see, what was that first? What was the first segment? The second segment? I can't even remember. Throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
Or we have simple Appreciate and Improve. The 50-50 rule. I'm responsible 50% and you're responsible 50%. I have a role in this problem. You have a role in this problem. I have a role in fixing the problem. You have a role in fixing the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we're equal here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not me because I happen to be the CEO. It's not all my problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's our problem.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I was invited a couple of years ago to be part of a panel discussion, and the question was, there was a question saying, what is the new thing coming for leadership? My answer was very aligned with what you are saying. What is what we are not doing yet? Because if we don't do what we are not doing yet, the fundamentals that we are talking about, anything new will fall apart. You have to at least to secure the fundamental before looking something new.
You're perfect. Yeah, yes. And go back to the fundamentals, and then ask the people what would unleash their potential.
Mm-hmm.
And that team that who's standing in front of you, sitting in front of you. So how can I help you unleash your potential? So one tool is, of all your past managers, what helped you to unleash your potential? What hindered you?
Mm-hmm.
And you put your name on it because it's all about all your past managers. So they're telling you personally, this is how you can manage me, and I will be more productive for you.
Mm-hmm.
So a simple thing could be, I really don't like when people honor me in public. They give me credit in public. I prefer you send me a note home so my family can see it, my wife and kids. Wow, look what I got from my boss. I get embarrassed in groups when people say, I just want to give the credit to you. Mm-hmm. So I say, what hindered me is when people showed appreciation in public. I don't need that. Other people say, show me appreciation in public. I like that. It makes me feel important, and so, okay, then I will do that for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Give me improvement feedback in private, because I get embarrassed if you do it in public. Mm-hmm. Some millennials, they don't get embarrassed in public. Go ahead. Okay. Can you be more specific about that? But all people are different. Mm-hmm. So treat people differently or I would say it this way, treat people equally by treating them differently.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Yes.
One of my rules.
Very good. Very good. And this is part of the relationship, right? If you don't have that relationship with the people, you don't know how they are and how you can approach them to get them their performance up. That is what we expect from.
Look at the English word relationship. How am I relating to you? How can we relate together is relationship. It's how I relate. And then in my book, probably more important than how I relate to you is how I relate to me. Called its explanatory style, because I'm talking to myself all the time.
That's true.
And I'm explaining the world to myself. I'm relating to me.
That's true.
You know, well, he's that way and she's that way and this and that. And, you know, I have to understand the most important relationship I have is with me. And then if I'm good with me, if I'm clear with me, I can be clear with other people.
Yes, very, very.
One part of my book about talking to yourself.
Yes. Well, if I would recommend everybody listening to this, watching this interview, that I would really recommend them to read Jim's book. It's enlightening and make you think in a totally different ways that maybe you have been doing so far.
And if not, it can help you sleep at night.
As well. Yeah.
Help people with insomnia and just read one page.
I don't think this is the case, but that's true. Okay, very good. Jim, I think we exceeded by far our agreement. It's always a pleasure listening to you and learning your point of view on all these topic for which you are expert. And I don't know, unless you have anything else to add, I would like to not to keep your time and close the conversation.
I would say in return that it's always nice to talk to someone with as much experience internationally as you do, because you work with Taiwanese people, Czech people, Romanian people, Spanish people, British people, Canadian people. You know, you've worked with all these countries and with all these teams. So it's always nice to talk to somebody to make sure that we're on the same page. That yes, that's my experience with all these teams.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's true. Thank you very much, Jim. I really, really appreciate your willingness to have this conversation. And hopefully we will meet soon. I don't know, online or offline. Hopefully online as well.
Mostly online.
Yes, maybe online, but it would be a pleasure also meeting you again offline and sharing our these nice conversations. Again, thank you very much, Jim. Really appreciate, and talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you. And to all of you, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.